What a lot of people don't realize is if we lift the average customer spend by $2 on a business doing 1,000 transactions a week, it's $100K of extra revenue, and the only expense is food costs. I'm going to put our KPI calculator. Now, this is a very specific calculator where you can put in your weekly customer numbers, your average customer spend, your food costs, your labor costs, and your overheads. And what we can do is we can start manipulating the numbers in that to figure out, okay, where we are now and where can we potentially get this to? So if we raise our prices and we lose 100 customers a week, sometimes it's better, but we want to look at that first. The restaurant industry is broken. Last year, 1 in 4 restaurants ran at a loss, and more than 85% of owners admitted to underpaying themselves just to keep the doors open at some point during the year. Too many restaurant owners work long hours, carry all the stress, and have a pay packet lower than some of their team members. In Make Restaurants Profitable, we're not just going to teach you how to be profitable. We're talking to some of the best restaurant owners across the world about how they did it, the things they wish they knew earlier, and what they needed to change to get their life back. Let's go. Welcome back to Make Restaurants Profitable. We've loved hearing your feedback. So if you've been listening, you love it, send me a message. I want to hear from you. And if you're not following, you're going to want to hit the subscribe button because you're not going to want to miss the next episode coming out. As part of this series, we're going to walk you through the biggest problems that this industry is facing, and we're going to help you solve them inside your restaurant, bar, or cafe, catering business, hospitality venue. So today, we got 2 more questions from 2 people who have submitted them, talking about staff, talking about struggling with demand, and they have some pricing issues. So let's jump in. First up, we've got Seb from Ottawa in Canada. Tim, I'm Seb. I run a shawarma shop in suburban Ottawa, tucked into a strip mall situation that used to be pretty quiet. Okay. My son's name's Seb as well, actually. We've been doing about 15,000 a week and built a solid local crowd. People love our fresh to order range. But in the last few months, 3 new places have opened up right beside us. A pizzeria and a bubble tea place and a burger joint. Things have slowed down and I'm not sure how to play it. Do I do discount nights, online bundle deals, some kind of local promo? What kind of deal would you run? Or what are your thoughts on the situation as a whole? What should I be doing going forward? Oh, Seb. My man, this is a tough one, especially when you're the only person who's been there and you kind of get settled into your 15K weeks and then all these new shops open. It hurts. I get it. So, number 1. I'm going to say this again, and I'm going to keep saying it, is break-even point. Let's figure out our break-even point. Super important because once we know our break-even point, it removes the fear. Once we know the numbers, it removes the fear. So once we know our break-even point, we know exactly how many customers we need to bring through the door. That's number 1. Now, the second thing is we want to start thinking about, okay, who were your customers and why are they not coming? Because to be honest, if you've got a product that is different and a product that is done really, really well, and you've got a great following, bubble tea is totally different to what you're serving. A burger joint, look, comparative. Pizza joint, yeah, probably slightly comparative. But at the end of the day, I really think we need to have a look at what do we need to do to bring more customers through the door. So a couple of things I would like to address first up is discounting and online bundle deals. I really think that as soon as we start discounting our product, it just removes all value from it. And when I say that, if you're selling something for one price one day and then all of a sudden the next day you're selling it for less, what it does is it creates a lesser value for your product in their mind, in your customer's mind. So if just say Friday night's full price and then Monday night's, half price, well, people are just going to start coming in on Mondays. And then what you're going to find is that your Friday night trade's going to drop off because they're going to well, no, Monday's cheap night, so we're going to go on cheap night. And then you're going to attract people on Mondays. And then something else is going to come up and then they're going to go somewhere else. And then you're going to have to figure out what else you're going to do. So when you start discounting, it becomes a race to the bottom. So what we want to start thinking about is how do we attract people back inside to the business? So if you're going to run promos rather than discounting the price, let's start figuring out what other products or what other things can we do to entice people in. So Number 2, don't discount. Let's change our product offering, or let's start adding specials, or when I say specials, specialty dishes that are only a once-off, or they're only for this week only. We're going to do this thing for this week and then next week change it. So we're changing up our menu and we're putting things out there. Now, I'm saying that assuming that you've already got a great social media following, you've already got a database, you've already got people on that. The third thing that we want to start thinking about is what we're doing in the local community. What else are we doing in the local community to make people come in? Because what we need to understand is people buy from people. So if I was in your position right now, I'd be front facing on social media. I'd be telling a story about where I came from. I'd be telling a story around why I started the shop. I'd be telling a story around the history, around the rich history of the food that you're currently serving. Then I would be going out in the community and seeing how I could give back. What local sporting teams can you sponsor? What other sports can you start becoming a part of? And then how can you start getting a part of the business community as well? Because people buy from people. So, quick recap, break-even point. You need to know your numbers, because at the end of the day, if you're bleeding money and you're going backwards very, very fast, you got to understand when you need to cut and run. So first thing, understand break-even point. Second thing is we want to start figuring out how we can introduce specialty dishes or novelty items and not discount. We don't want to discount. And third thing is, how do we get on the front foot telling the story of our brand, telling the story of the food that we're serving? And then at the same time, how do we go and insert ourselves in the community so people want to start coming to you to buy their dinner, their lunch, or whenever else they buy it from you because of you? You're not just competing with the strip mall, you're competing with the noise of everyone else out there as well. Hope that helps. All right, next one up. So, I'm Laura. I've been running a cafe in regional WA for the last 9 months. Now, if you're somewhere else other than Australia, WA is like the other side of the planet when you're talking for Australia. It is a long, long way away. It hasn't been what I expected at all, to be honest with you. Well, thank you for being honest. I know hospitality isn't easy, but this is getting beyond what I thought it would be. All right, Laura, thank you for writing in. Thank you for being brutally honest. It's so great to see it. And so being in a region, I can't get any staff at all. I've gone through a chef, and now I'm working in the kitchen. My regulars are older and don't want to pay more for editing, so I feel like I can't raise my prices. This isn't what I expected, and now it's become closer to a nightmare than a dream. How do I change this? How can I pay myself? How can I get my team that actually cares about what I do? Anything you would suggest would help so much. Oh my God. If you've been working harder and harder and still feel like the profit isn't there, maybe it's because no one ever showed you where to look. The 5 profit levers will help you spot the hidden blocks and show you how to pull the right levers to finally make progress. Imagine what would change if you knew where the real problems were and how to fix them. Are you ready to take that first step? Check the show notes for the link. Laura. Oh, okay. First thing is, you're not alone. Don't feel like an idiot. Don't feel like you made a mistake. Don't beat yourself up over this. We've seen this time and time again. People have a dream. They want to create something amazing. They want to come into a business and do well, and they come in with this amazing energy, this amazing feeling, and then over time, it's beaten down. They realize that all they've done is they've just bought themselves a prison. So the first thing is, you've got to be okay with what's happened and don't beat yourself up because you haven't done anything wrong. All right. This is the industry. You're going to go through a lot more pain before you're going to start feeling great about life. I promise you. So when I say that, there's a few different things that's happened. So obviously you've taken over this business. It had an owner at one point who was probably just been scraping by. No doubt that they've told you it's doing well better than what it was. And then, you come in to find out it's not. Now you've got to change the culture because you want to come in and you need to get the business running right. So the first thing I'd love you to do is, in the show notes, I'm going to put our KPI calculator. Now, this is a very specific calculator where you can put in your weekly customer numbers, your average customer spend, your food costs, your labor costs, and your overheads. And it's going to produce that out to a 52-week to a year result. And what we can do is we can start manipulating the numbers in that to figure out, okay, where we are now and where can we potentially get this to? So what a lot of people don't realize is if we lift the average customer spend by $2 on a business doing 1,000 transactions a week, it's 100K of extra revenue, and the only expense is food costs. So jump in, grab that calculator and go through it. There's a training video on how to do it, how to use it. Jump in and have a look at that. So that's the first thing. And we want to get an understanding of like, okay, cool. If we raise our prices and we lose 100 customers a week, sometimes it's better. But we want to look at that first. Now, once we understand that side of the business, then we can start getting to work. And my first suggestion is we want to start menu engineering our business for profit. So you're going to want to change your menu, but you're going to alienate a bunch of other people. But in changing that menu to what you want, you need to get very clear on your target demographic, because it sounds like the old people coming in who don't want to spend the money, it sounds like they're not your target demographic. So I get it. So let's figure out who you do want in there. And then we can design the menu around who you do want in there. So now we know the numbers. Now we know what we're aiming for. Then we can redesign the menu. Now, when it comes to staff, it's really hard to find great staff when you're hating on your life and your business sucks. So what we want to do from there is we want to start figuring out what we want to create, and then we want to get clear on who we find. Because when you're in the position that you're in, most of the time what we do is that anyone with a heartbeat who's able to turn up to the work sober is we get inside of our business, and then we create this team that adds to our nightmare. So KPI calculator, understanding who we want to serve inside the community and making sure we're designing our menu and our business to match them. And you're going to have to go through some pain of obviously upsetting a few oldies. And the third thing is we want to understand exactly who we want to work for us. Now, what that requires is you finding some time and getting a piece of paper and a pen and sitting down and writing all the qualities that you'd love to see in a chef, all the qualities that you'd love to see in a front of house person. So let's get clear around who you want. And once you get that, then you can start going to market. Social media, your job ads, you can start putting it out there to your friends. Hi, I'm Laura. We're building this amazing thing at X, Y, and Z, and I'm looking for this amazing chef to come and work with us and help change the community around us. You can start getting really clear with that, and you can start bringing your passion into it. So don't be afraid to be really picky. If someone turns up and they don't tick all the boxes, you know what? Stay in the kitchen for a bit longer, or put them in the kitchen, but know when someone better comes along, you're going to move them on somehow. Now, a lot of people tell themselves the story, I'm regional, you can't find good stuff. But I promise you, I've seen people build businesses in regional centers who find amazing team members and over time build that team up where they never have to go into their business again. And I promise you that is possible, but you need to do those first three things to start, and you need to understand where you're going. And it is possible, but you can't accept the story that you're coming across right now. You would not believe the amount of people who go to me, Tim, I just can't find staff, and go, cool. What have you done? Oh, well, you just can't find them anywhere. I'm like, cool. Have you put out a job ad? Oh, well, we did ages ago. Like, when was the last time you did a social media post? Oh, well, a week or so ago. If you want to find good staff like your life depends on it. Get clear on what you want and then go and find it like your life depends on it. Don't lean back. Okay. So go and do those three things and be consistent at showing up as the best version of yourself. Do whatever you have to do. Get a massage, get some time out so you're showing up consistently as your best version of yourself, and things will start turning around. You'll see it. If you're struggling with any of these things as well, head to the show notes and book a call with one of our team and let them help you figure out a plan to get from where you are now to where you want to be. And let's get rid of the roadblocks that are currently in place. And if you've got a question that you want me to answer, just DM me over at foodie_coaches over on Instagram. See you next week.